The yogic mechanism of vibration transfer through the bones, a deep exploration of inner resonance, pranic transmission, and the silent power hidden in your skeleton. Opening transmission. What if your bones could sing, not in words, but in sacred tones? What if the silence within your marrow wasn't emptiness, but a hidden pathway of light, sound, and intelligence waiting to awaken? This is not poetry, it is ancient physiology. The spiritual science of how vibration travels through your body, not just through your skin or breath or voice, but through the very architecture of your being, through the bones. In this sacred transmission, we will explore something rarely spoken of outside of advanced yogic lineages. The deep mechanism of how mantra, breath, and awareness activate the skeletal system, not merely as structure, but as transmitter, a crystalline, sacred conduit for consciousness itself. Let us begin where stillness begins, in the vibration beneath all other vibrations. 1. The body is a resonant instrument. Most of us have been taught to see the body as flesh, muscle, and energy. But beneath all this, something else is quietly present. The bones. Bones are not inert. They are crystalline structures, capable of vibration, conduction, and storage of pranic resonance. In fact, from a yogic perspective, the bones are the most subtle physical conductor in the entire body. Why? Because their density allows them to carry vibration farther, deeper, and with more internal continuity than the softer tissues. When a mantra is chanted, not just spoken but felt, it vibrates the cavities of the mouth and the spine. And this resonance doesn't stop at the skin or lungs. It travels into the bone matrix itself. Think of a tuning fork placed on a violin body. The vibration deepens, carries, and expands. In the same way, your bones receive and magnify subtle sounds from within, and when you become very still, you can feel it, the humming inside your structure, the deeper frequency of you. 2. How vibration moves through bone versus air or flesh. Air transmits vibration quickly, but it disperses. Skin and muscle absorb, but they also muffle. Bone, however, does something extraordinary. It holds the frequency and sends it with integrity across long distances, internally. This is why advanced yogis and nada practitioners often sit in postures that stack the spine vertically, keep the jaw relaxed, and allow the cranial bones to remain slightly parted. Because every posture, every micro-adjustment of the skeletal system affects how vibration travels. This is also why keeping the tongue relaxed, the jaw unlocked, and the back of the head uncompressed are critical for serious mantra practice. Not because it looks good, but because it transmits better. When a mantra is allowed to vibrate freely through the bones, it bypasses the surface mind, it feeds the marrow, it wakes up dormant centers in the hips, the sternum, and the spine, and it begins to reprogram the very body memory of fear, tension, and separation. 3. The spine, your vertical resonance channel. From the yogic lens, the spine is not simply a structural support. It is a central resonance channel, a vertical crystalline rod made of vertebral chambers and inner pathways. When a vibration enters the spine, whether through breath, mantra, or deep inner silence, it begins to climb. It ascends not just energetically, but vibrationally. Many traditions speak of the Kundalini rising, but what often remains unspoken is the resonant rise. The hum that begins in the sacrum and slowly echoes upward, through the lumbar, into the thoracic vertebrae, up the cervical spine, and finally into the base of the skull. This is why yogis emphasize stillness, because the less the body moves, the more clearly the vibration travels. Stillness is not passivity, it is an active resonance amplifier, and the spine is the antenna, the vibrational staff that connects earth to heaven. 4. The skull as a sacred resonator. Few realize this, but the bones of your skull are not fixed solid. They breathe. They float slightly apart. And in the presence of true inner vibration, especially during mantra or advanced breathwork, they begin to subtly adjust. This is not imagination. Cranial osteopaths have mapped it, but yogis experience it. A gentle opening at the crown, a widening between the parietal bones, a softening at the occipital ridge. These movements are minute, but they create vast openings in the inner energetic field. It is through these openings that subtle perception arises. When the skull becomes a resonating chamber, not stiff, not locked, but alive, then mantra no longer just echoes in the mind. It moves through the vault of the inner world, calling memory, light, and deep ancestral intelligence forward. Mantra is not sound. It is structured vibration. A mantra is not a word. It is a frequency code. When you chant, you are not just making noise. You are delivering structured vibration into your system. And the bones, especially the spinal column, rib cage, and skull, are the delivery system. Chanting silently in the mind may affect the subtle body, but chanting with embodied awareness transmits that vibration into the physical field. It rewrites your body's memory. Think about trauma. It hides in the bones, so healing must reach the bones, not just the emotions, not just the breath, but the structure. Mantra, when carried through bone resonance, reaches those hidden places and unknots the silent constrictions you didn't know were there. This is why advanced yogis chant not to be heard, but to feel the vibration inside their skeleton, to resonate inward, until all inner chambers awaken. 6. How posture influences bone transmission. Even subtle posture shifts change how your bones transmit. If your shoulders collapse inward, the clavicle cuts the flow. If your jaw is tight, the mandible blocks upper resonance. If the spine is kinked, the vibration will halt at the curve. That's why posture in deep yoga is never about aesthetics. It is vibrational architecture. The skeleton becomes a temple, each bone a tuning fork, each joint a resonance chamber. When you sit well, grounded, upright, soft, you become a human bell, a cathedral of stillness that rings out from the inside, not to be heard externally, but to awaken the field. The vibrational aura that extends beyond skin and space, the song of your bones. 7. How this affects emotional memory and karma. When vibration moves deeply through bone, it stirs what is stored in the bone. Yogic texts say karma lives in the seed form in subtle layers, but its densest imprint rests in the body's structure. The hips hold unresolved fear, the jaw holds suppressed voice, the spine holds lineage weight. But vibration, when applied with deep stillness and presence, melts these layers. This is why sometimes during mantra or deep-seated silence, old emotions arise suddenly, because something inside was finally reached. Not just healed emotionally, but dissolved vibrationally. This is not psychological, it is acoustic liberation. 8. Silence is the highest vibration the bones can carry. And here is the great paradox. After all the sound, all the mantra, all the tone, there comes silence. And this silence is not the absence of sound, but the highest frequency the bones can carry. Because silence is pure potential vibration, it is the stillness that contains all other sound. And when the bones are trained through practice, they can carry this. Stillness that hums, stillness that dissolves inner friction, stillness that heals without moving. This is why stillness is not passive. It is the most saturated resonance of all. Mystical reflection. Your skeleton is not a cage, it is a choir, Each bone sings, not with melody, but with memory. Not with effort, but with sacred echo. When you chant, when you breathe, when you become truly still, you are not just calming the mind, you are tuning the bones until they carry silence like song. And in that sacred vibration, you do not disappear, you resonate into eternity. If this sacred transmission awakens something within you, please consider subscribing to receive more teachings on subtle body science, mantra resonance, and the deeper yogic path. You're also warmly invited to become a supporting member. Your presence helps bring these teachings to more souls around the world. Next transmission preview. In the next sacred episode, we'll explore the real inner mechanics of surrender, why letting go isn't passive, but the most vibrationally intelligent act the body can perform.